I've been literally working out to combat that. And I was never in shape, but I'm like 34 now, and I'm like, I have to go do live shows, and I'm in my 30s. That means I have to come super correct because I'm in my 30s. That's what people don't get sometimes about your 30s. You cannot be
Well, I'll
whacking
tell
your
you
30s
something.
like that.
This is something I've realized, yeah? And this is like my lesson on aging with music. A lot of people think presentation comes from all the energy you put in, yeah, or performance, sorry. But you can perform very easily with minimal movement, but they look big.
You know what though?
Do you know what I mean?
So I do, because I was a lot bigger and I still performed. But I had this opportunity to perform at Just for Laughs in Montreal and do Eminem's Rap God for hip hop karaoke. And it was one of the worst 6 minutes of my life, all things considered, because as I'm doing my thing, I wanted to do things, but I'm trying to not wheeze as I'm busting through Rap God. I pulled it off, and my
Mhm.
performance wasn't shit, but I will always see it as shit because if I had just taken my health more seriously before that moment, it could have been like next level. And that's something that, like, it got to me. Like, so you're right, but I also think the scope of performing for like a lot of things is like, even as an audience member, I kind of get bored when Mans just stands there in the mic and doesn't move for fucking 2 songs. Like, like,
Listen, I'm dead. I'm leaving. I'm buying my drink. I'm gone.
so like,
I'm that kind of person. Unless you're a person that's a singer
mm,
who is introverted like that. But
I'm with that.
like
I'm
I
not
said,
okay with singers because the voice is gonna do all the lifting and make you all drawn in and shit. But like,
now this is what I mean though. You could have someone that stands still for a whole track, yeah, but his movements are big and small. A perfect example is like I watched Toby Nugwe. You watch that guy?
yes, mm,
And he's the perfect example of that.
and he'll just be like,
Yeah?
ah, and like,
That's it. Yeah? So the whole point is you don't have to do all of this.
no. But
You just got to do the
arguably,
right move.
on his note, man, he's so choreographed. You kind of do have to be in shape because he be holding yoga poses and shit in his rhymes to make it look fire. And even doing
Nah,
the,
man, you
bro,
could do that for 10 seconds. Believe you me. You could hold that for ten
yo, I'm
seconds. You
saying,
know.
I'm saying it was a bad
I know what
place,
you
and
mean. I know what you
I
mean.
mean, like, while holding a mic though, fucking through 4 songs later, nah. I'm telling you, I know where I was. It wasn't
Mm.
good. I needed to train in a sense to be able to physically handle the stage better because if I am gonna go to New York and rap and they're gonna look at me like New Yorkers, I at least have to look cool doing it.
Yeah, but you don't want to look like them.
No, I don't want to look like
Yeah.
them. I want to look like me,
Um,
being the best me I can be, which requires a little,
and
you know.
that's what will get you the love. I think that you see the thing. This is why I say a lot of Americans and so forth are paying attention now because England's gone to the point where we don't give a fuck.
Mm,
Yeah, we used to play hard to make it into that bubble.
I like
Then
what
we
you're saying.
realized we can make more money in Lanzarote, making the euro pound. We don't actually need America like that. Yeah, and then
Ooh.
it changed because now we're hitting up a dynamic where our sound is unapologetic. We have our own sound now. We don't need to sound like you no more. And now, you in order for you to get a euro pound, you're kind of trying to find ways to get into our scene now. You know, so you get a lot of outcries of people making that connection, which I love. I think it's beautiful. I think there should be way more connections because it's amazing. But
That's dope.
it's so unapologetic that they had to come and find the sound now. You know, Kanye lived there for years and made a whole new sound while he was here, while he was studying, because he's like, London's got bare sounds. It's insane when you're in the middle of the city. What you were party to is so mixed up. Every neighborhood is a mixed up neighborhood, and now it's just mashed into one.
So just the geography of London, which weirdly I've watched a lot of geography videos about London recently, just because
Mm-hmm.
I found a YouTuber. It goes like that. and all of it's just kind of forced everybody to keep mixing up over weird regulations and this, that, the next thing, that it's all like, from a musical sense, just everything new.
Well, we originated a lot of new styles.
Right.
So yeah, to a degree, it's a lot of it. Like there's so much different angles you can hear music from over here, and I think that's the nice part as well. You know, if I want to tap into so much different type, don't get me wrong, that's worldwide. Music is like various anywhere you go, but we have a very big fusion pool here. That's the right way.
I,
We love fusion.
I fucks with that. I feel like my city loves EDM. That's what I'm realizing. I don't mean like the hip hop scene. I mean like the city really likes
Hmm.
EDM, and rappers that are EDM friendly seem to do very okay at festivals here.
London really loves indie. It's just the sound here, you know,
Yeah.
that good old acoustic guitar, that Oasis sound is big here. Don't get it twisted. That is still huge, but like anything, hip hop took over the world,
Mm.
and all its little cousins are doing the same thing. You know, that is how to see it. Every little, as they use it, urban sound is now what represents mainstream anything. You know, weirdly enough, it used to be that good old rock, man. You wanted to sell your washing machine, you had dun 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 Bayo mode. Now that's gonna have a hip hop beat on the background and this woman making it rain with napkins. God damn, you know, little influences. We took over the world.
Bruh,
It happened.
it's big truth. It really is. I
Like
want.
even in China. In China they got end of the week hip hop. Yeah, end of the week China.
Do they?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know
got end
that.
of the week China rap. And out there they had a like let's say American Idol, but for hip hop. And it's the first time because hip hop's new out there. It's like a really new thing. This is only a few years back. We're going 2018, I think. Yeah. And the winner ended up sleeping with like the emperor's daughter, one of them kind of things, and making like a public fool of himself with it. And the country almost put a ban on hip hop, period, throughout the whole country. Yeah, just to show you like the language levels of when I'm speaking to the boys out there, C Jam and Sweet, they're like, man, hip hop's new. And you think we could talk about how you talk about it? We got to do it covert because the country will shut down the whole thing. Not a little bit, the whole thing. There will be no hip hop raves. There will be nothing off the sort. Man, I can't even fathom that sitting here in England, that kind of
Yeah, no.
censorship.
I find that to be wild too. Like when I consider it,
Insane.
and then like how underground it has to be, and then you gotta imagine how good that slang is gonna be. Like how much you're gonna
Yeah.
have to be in the know to know. Like that's lit when I think about how good it's gonna be.
Well, look, it's catching something early, isn't it? They got the beauty of catching something early. When it's just started, you can make so much waves. That's how I
Mm.
feel. Like if you bought Bitcoin in 2007, you're laughing now. You know, if you caught that shit early, you're laughing.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, I feel like that's what VR rappers are gonna be, and that's where a lot of shit's going. So we'd be totally looking into VR rapping. Like, I'm like, why would I not be there right now, learning all the ecosystem shit possible? So when everyone else wants to be there, we can profit off of that situation. Cause like, there's a lot to it. You need coding experience. You need designing people, and then you need to understand ecosystem designs, technological, whatever. And it's actually not hard-ish. I don't know how hard it is. My boy is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but we gonna figure it out because we gonna wanna like okay, like I mean, as much as it is, this is alright, but like, yo, imagine doing like the Zoom. It's this is fine in a Zoom like this, but like when I think of like the ciphers and shit, there actually is something to being in a VR avatar circle that's better than Zoom and worse than real life. Like it's a step up. It's not a step backwards because
I'm here with you.
I've done that with because your hands move. I'm telling you, bro. There's something to the hands going with the mouth and shit, and you're like, it's just a little bit better than the fucking like, the Zoom call with the fucking 17 faces, and then like people have proportions and shit. Like they're closer and farther away, and then
I know, but the problem, I'll tell you my problem with it. I just think people's going to get comfortable with it. And then we lose the love for the life.
but the thing,
Yeah.
yo,
They spend so much time keeping us away. You know?
they're gonna. I don't know how it's gonna go down in the UK, but if you look at how much big shows cost now, it's gonna be festivals, and festivals are taking over. Bars are apparently not making money because nobody be drinking now that weed be legal. Like, it's like shit changing.
Well, that's different because England's it's not legal, and it's
That's
a drink
fair.
culture. So that the bars never slip over.
And I'm
here,
not saying that's across the board. I'm saying this is a trend that is taking place with young people who watched a lot of older people drink and make bad choices. Go, maybe we should drink less. This is not like I'm not making this up. You can go find stats that across America, this is actually a thing.
I wish that was true. Yeah, but the level of prescription drugs that are being digested has doubled.
Facts.
That was not a thing in my time. Yeah, you didn't do prescription drugs. You did hard drugs or no drugs.
Right.
Yeah. Now
the prescription
shit is like their grandma's drug cabinet. I'm in the cabinet. What does this one do, Grandma? I don't know, but I'll experiment. And then that turns into the wave for the next 20 kids. Grandma's pills. So where it looks cleaner, it's kind of even more mixed up.
That's fair.
It's more mixed up. It's way more pharmaceutical.
And I do not even know how.
Way more sensitive.
Which also just affects a lot of things because people are kind of like here's the thing. I've always smoked weed more than drank. So I know for a fact that live shows and marijuana, the best experiences I've had are when people could smoke inside. They don't go outside for 15 minutes to smoke a joint, and nobody goes outside to smoke a joint for less than 15 minutes. So when people go outside to do it, like your crowd be outside and then 20 people are outside, nobody, and I realize weed has this strange impact when your crowd smokes, but there's no venues for it in Montreal, really, unless you're outside. So I started looking into these dynamics, and his bars got shittier because gentrification raised drink prices. That's the best way to put it. There used to be $20 pitchers. Now there's no $20 pitchers. It's a lot harder to sell tickets when it's like $9 a drink type thing. And all of these little things pushed kids into Airbnbs and private parties and things that I'm never going to get invited to. And the whole live scene started evolving in this like new direction that intermingles with IRL and cool experiences. Because really, if it's good for the gram, right? It's probably worth getting that shot. And then like, oh man, the whole world is flipping upside on its head. But it's also like a weird world of niche market. So if you really want live, it'll be there. If you really want everything, it will always be there.
True. I just think we're losing it, man. The digital age scares me. Maybe I'm just that. Do you know what though? I'll be honest, yeah. I always believe because I was born in the 80s, we are the ultimate test products of technology.
That's facts.
Yeah. So like by this era, this is like the perfected side of technology, so to speak. Yeah. This was literally all the films we watched growing up in one. Right now, this is it. We're there. Demolition Man thought it was a joke, but it's real. Yeah, Wesley Snipes they all foresee this future. So now we're actually in it. It's like a thing to me. Damn, it's a thing to me where I'm like, okay, I understand what stage we're in. Yeah, because there was no consoles before me that was made for me. That the whole.
I never even one time thought about it like the way you're describing it. But you mad, right?
Just think of it in like simple logic, yeah? The console was not before me. My mum's era was outdoor kids. So when they did things, it was to be outdoor and it was to be in that kind of setting. You know, I speak to my mum, and her upbringing is like following the rebels, but it was never technology or computer based. That was for me. You know, my era got the arcade. It started with the arcade. I spent a lot of money in arcades. Yeah, playing these goddamn kids that learn how to do Street Fighter moves I can't do because they know how to press cheat buttons. This was me. Yeah. Then they made the console, which taught us how to stay indoors.
Facts.
That's different. Yeah.
Yo,
That's like the home studio to me.
bro, and then they made it online play. So even when we grew up with the Halos and the Xboxes connecting to each other, all that shit's deaded now. It's just like we used to have like social experiences with video games IRL,
Exactly.
and now
Listen,
you just sit
no
there and
one's gonna tell me about
leave the couch.
GoldenEye on the N64, yeah, where you got to put in 4 pads. This is like real social experiences because you lived that. We was in it. We all played it side to side, shoulder to shoulder. The minute we went online, that was it.
I never got into online
and now
gaming.
you can't even get games that you play together. You know, it's like, yo, yeah, let's play this game. All right, you go home.
No, I gotta give the Nintendo Switch its credit. The Nintendo Switch gave me a moment a couple years back where I went to my mom's crib, and we had the 4 little controller things, and we brought the Mario Party, bro. And all of a sudden, and I fucking swear, you're like, that's how the game works. So now you're sitting there going like that next to your mom with the fucking Switch thing. And bro, it was great. And I have to give Nintendo their props. I think they saw that there was actually a need for it, and they put efforts into social video gaming. But nah, man, everybody be trying to make it like fucking let's go to work in a virtual world. You know, people be literally...
That's the scary part. That is literally the scary part because that's where we're losing our reality as we know it.
Yo, work from home was a big wake-up call for me because, like, I'm super pro future tech shit. Like, I feel like I'm just going to ride the wave because it's coming rather than fear it. And then I did work from home, and it took about 1.5 years for me to realize that I like coffee breaks where I can just sit there and like shoot the shit about stupid nothings because I hung out with rappers predominantly for the last 2 years and not regular people. And there's no balance anymore. It's just artists, and artists are divas. I'm going to put it out there. We're all divas. And so my whole life is a bunch of fucking divas with no grounding anymore. There's no like... Because none of us are famous enough to have corporates around us. So it's just all of us being all of us. And I'm like, man, I miss listening to people complain about home repairs. That's some shit I haven't heard in a long time.
The simple things, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Like somebody who gets excited because they dropped a new song, not, oh yeah, now check out my track, which is fair because we're all doing it.
But like I said, that's because we can't do the build-up no more. We lost that build-up. Yeah, before you could do that, you can make people wait that 3 months. I actually remember buying Biggie, Born to Die on CD, waiting in the queue for over-expensive import price. You know, I remember those days. It felt good. I remember buying the vinyl, like when I bought LL Cool J. Yeah. Because I need love. Dun, dun, dun. I wanted that, yeah? I bought that album. Yeah, cheesy times, isn't it? Yeah, but I bought that album specifically. I queued up for it, paid an over expensive import price. Yeah, but that's what we did. Now, there's no build up. Now it's just hit the music.
Well, now it's not even just that. It's like, now it's like what grabs my attention, which is a weird situation because like the algorithm be slowly taking over. I just read a book that fucked me up on that concept. It was the guy who wrote Homo Deus, his like next book, Sapiens. The guy who wrote Sapiens, that was like big for a minute. His follow-up book. He starts talking about how we're giving up our humanity to algorithms and shit, and you see it with Google Maps. Google Maps is the perfect example. Just look at how we used to treat directions. Nah, we all chose the fuck it. Google Maps is better. Like the whole world just kind of decided to let an algorithm win. And think about the algorithm we gave all of the. They've been, like, it's over. Like, we can't even go back now. It's too fucking late. But the fact is, we all did it because MapQuest was so bad. It was really bad, and we all got bad directions. When Google Maps came, it was so good, and
Yeah,
there's a
but
lot
there
of
is
things
something
like that
else that
shit.
to
Think
do it.
about Fitbits or Fitbits be ruling my life a bit. If the Fitbit, like, it tells me shit, and it helps me get healthier. But without the Fitbit, I promise you, I'm not as accountable. I need that fucking shit telling me that I need to be healthy, and now I'm healthier.
Now, imagine that. Isn't that nuts? That you need a crutch to tell you.
Yeah,
But
facts.
the fact is, you should be able to tell yourself that. Yeah. But it's tailored in a way now that there's something to do everything for you, even making music. Yeah.
Facts.
I remember the amount cutting and stuff I used to do to find samples of breaks. And then I bought the machine and my life changed. I'm like, wow, this box has everything in it. Yeah? This one box, as long as I download a patch, I have Abbey Road Studio. Yeah. For what? Yeah. This used to be someone's craft. Now it's just given to you so easy, you know?